S1E2. In the early 1600s, the English Puritans who embarked from England to the new lands were a religious group seeking freedom from the perceived corruption and rituals of the Church of England. Specifically, the founders of New Haven were led by individuals such as Reverend John Davenport and Theophilus Eaton. These Puritans were motivated by a desire to establish a community where they could practice their faith according to their interpretation of the Bible, free from what they considered to be the impurities of the Church of England. The migration of these English Puritans to the New World was driven by a vision of creating a society based on their religious principles and escaping the religious persecution they faced in England. In the 1600s, the Quinnipiac bands, like many Native American tribes in the northeastern woodlands, were facing regional tensions and conflicts primarily due to interactions with other indigenous groups and European settlers. Some key factors contributing to these tensions include 1. Raiding bands. The Quinnipiacs were distressed by raiding bands from neighboring indigenous tribes, such as the Pequots and Mohawks. 1. These raiding bands often sought resources, territory, or engaged in conflicts over long-standing disputes. 2. Competition for resources. The northeastern woodlands, including the region around the Quinnipiac River, was rich in natural resources. 2. Various tribes, including the Quinnipiacs, were likely in competition for hunting grounds, fishing areas, and fertile land for agriculture. 2. This competition could lead to conflicts over resource access. 3. European contact. The arrival of European settlers, such as the English Puritans, introduced new dynamics to the region. 3. The Native American tribes faced challenges in navigating relationships with the newcomers, as well as potential competition for land and resources. 4. Disease. The Native American populations were vulnerable to diseases introduced by European settlers, against which they had little to no immunity. 4. Diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza had devastating effects on indigenous communities, causing population decline and social disruption. Upon reaching land, Reverend John Davenport and Theophilus Eaton, along with the group of English Puritans, initiated negotiations with the local Native American tribes. The specific tribe in the New Haven region was the Quinnipiac tribe, also known as the Quinnipiacs. The negotiations resulted in an agreement between the English Puritans and the Quinnipiacs. The Quinnipiac tribe, led by their sachem, Chief Mamogwin, agreed to sell the land to the Puritans. In return, the settlers pledged to protect the natives and allow them to use the lands on the east side of the harbor. This agreement was signed on November 24, 1638. The Agreement Treaty. The Agreement Treaty between the English Puritans, led by Reverend John Davenport and Theophilus Eaton, and the Quinnipiac tribe, led by Sachem Mamogwin, was signed on November 24, 1638. The treaty outlined several key points, including 1. Land sale. The Quinnipiacs agreed to sell their tribal lands to the English settlers. 1. In return, the Puritans provided goods and other compensation to the Quinnipiacs. 1. The exact terms of the transaction may not be fully documented, but it involved the transfer of land from the Native Americans to the English. 2. Land usage agreement. As part of the agreement, the English settlers pledged to protect the Quinnipiacs from external threats, especially from raiding bands of Pequots and Mohawks. 2. The Quinnipiacs were allowed to continue using the lands on the east side of the harbor for their own purposes. 3. Reserved land for Quinnipiacs. The eastern side of the harbor in New Haven was designated as a reserve for the Mamogwin band. 3. This area was set aside exclusively for the Quinnipiac tribe's use, ensuring they had a place to live, hunt, and engage in their traditional activities. 4. Mutual protection. The English settlers committed to providing military protection to the Quinnipiacs, recognizing the distress they faced from neighboring tribes. 4. This mutual protection was a key aspect of the alliance formed between the Puritans and the Quinnipiacs. The treaty marked a pivotal moment in the early history of New Haven, as it established a foundation for peaceful coexistence, to a certain extent, between the English settlers and the indigenous people. The specifics of the agreement helped shape the relationship between the two groups in the initial years of the New Haven colony. The English Puritans, following the agreement, proceeded to establish the settlement of New Haven. They envisioned not only creating a Christian utopia but also saw economic opportunities in the region's spacious harbor. The settlement was strategically planned, and by 1640, a complete government had been established. The town plan devised by Reverend John Davenport and Theophilus Eaton for the city of New Haven was based on a unique and innovative grid of 9 squares, known as the 9 Square Plan. Each square had a specific purpose, and the central square, which is now the New Haven Green, was designated a public common. This plan was a key element in the development of New Haven and reflected the founders' vision for a well-organized and purposeful community. Here's a comprehensive understanding of the purpose and significance of each square. 1. Market Square, New Haven Green. Purpose: central hub for trade and commerce. Significance: the economic heart of the city, where merchants gathered for trade and community activities. 2. Meeting House Square. Purpose: location for religious activities, including the construction of the first Congregational Church. Significance: central space for worship and community gatherings, reflecting the Puritans' strong emphasis on religion. 3. Schoolhouse Square. Purpose: site for educational institutions and fostering intellectual pursuits. Significance: reflects the Puritans' commitment to education and the cultivation of knowledge within the community. 4. Landing Square. Purpose: initial point of contact for arrivals and departures, potentially serving as a harbor. Significance: gateway to the city, facilitating trade and communication with the outside world. 5. Artisan Square. Purpose: area dedicated to skilled craftspeople and artisans. Significance: fostering a thriving artisan community and contributing to the city's economic diversity. 6. Pasture or Training Square. Purpose: space for militia training and communal activities. Significance: emphasis on civic duty, defense preparedness, and communal gatherings. 7. Ox Pasture or Pasturage Square. Purpose: land designated for grazing animals. Significance: supporting agricultural activities and ensuring a local source of food. 8. Mill Square. Purpose: location for milling activities, essential for processing grains. Significance: contributing to the economic self-sufficiency of the community by providing a vital service. 9. Governor's Square. Purpose: site for the governor's residence and administrative functions. Significance: symbolizing authority and governance, central to the political structure of the community. The 9-square plan, with its careful consideration of economic, religious, educational, and civic needs, played a crucial role in shaping the development of New Haven. It provided a structured and organized foundation for the city, reflecting the values and priorities of its Puritan founders.